Hello everyone, my name is James Bold, lead news anchor and reporter for First Coast Weather and News. Today, we have an interesting, and arguably concerning story coming out of the Pacific Northwest. A large city in Washington state by the name of Yakima has decided to stop offering the MMR vaccine. The MMR vaccine covers the diseases of mumps, measles, and rubella. The reason for the discontinuation is a mix between the perceived lack of necessity and vaccine skepticism. Local health officials have agreed to stop requiring the MMR vaccine due to skeptic groups claiming it is not necessarily needed anymore. They believe measles is all but extinct in the United States, so why should the vaccine still be required? I guess they don't realize that the vaccine is the reason why measles is not much of a problem in this country anymore. The CDC has commented on Yakima's plan, saying that the idea is, and I quote, wildly stupid and dangerously irresponsible to the well-being of not just the people of Yakima, but to the entire country. Some of the skepticism seems to come from recent vaccine hesitation regarding the COVID-19 pandemic, as some people believe that the vaccine is dangerous for numerous reasons. Evidence shows that complications with the vaccine are incredibly rare, and are even more rare in the MMR vaccine. The MMR vaccine has been used in this country to great success for 50 years now, and again, is one of the reasons measles and related illnesses are essentially extinct in the U.S. I personally believe the discourse over the validity of science in the past year due to the global pandemic is leading us down a dangerous path. People will argue that it's a free country, let them do what they want. But when does it become time to tell those people to get over themselves, and do what's best for the well-being of our nation? Is your supposed freedom worth risking the lives of innocent people who may not be able to get the vaccine due to their age or health conditions? The polarization and politicization of things such as a virus have the potential to lead to a catastrophic situation, as the past year has shown us. Will history repeat itself, or will the officials in Yakima stand their ground against these skeptics? I'm sure nobody wants to go through another year of pandemic conditions, regardless of your stance on the coronavirus and its handling. But I guess for now the best we can do is hope the people in Yakima quickly come to their senses. Anyway, for our next story, we discuss the increasing activity in the tropics off of the Florida coast.
This message is being broadcast at the request of the Washington State Department of Health. This is a civil emergency message, which is being issued due to a developing situation within the city of Yakima, Washington. Please listen carefully, as the following information is important to your health and safety. Over the past week, a viral infection has seemed to infect a large portion of the population in Yakima. Out of the 93,000 residents, it is believed at least 25,000 of them could have been infected with this virus. Symptoms generally include, but are not limited to, fever, headaches, nasal congestion or runny nose, inflamed eyes, bright pink rash on the skin, and joint aches and pains. If you or your loved ones are experiencing any of these symptoms, it is advised you seek medical attention immediately. While the identity and origin of this virus is unknown, it is not believed to be severe at this time. Residents have reported symptoms becoming less severe in around 2 to 4 days. Do not panic, as panicking will only make the situation worse. At this time, the best you can do to protect you and your family is ensure proper hygiene. Wash your hands for 20 seconds in warm water, after lathering your hands thoroughly with soap. If you have access to one, wearing a facial mask or covering out in public is recommended, but not required. If proper safety protocols are followed, this situation will likely resolve itself in the coming weeks. Stay tuned to local news media for more information and future updates on this event. This message is being broadcast at the request of the Washington State Department of Health. A contagious disease warning has been issued for the state of Washington until further notice. Throughout the past week and a half, numerous major cities in Washington have been reporting an alarming uptick in viral infections across the state. Some general hotspots include, but are not limited to, Spokane, Yakima, Seattle, Tacoma, Olympia, and Kenwick. It is currently believed that this virus is a mutated form of rubella. Rubella is a virus similar to measles, and causes similar effects in the human body. But this strain of rubella seems to be different. Many patients have started to report the loss of taste and smell, along with the common symptoms that come along with rubella. These symptoms include, but are not limited to, fever, headaches, nasal congestion or runny nose, inflamed eyes, bright pink rash on the skin, and joint aches and pains. As of this time, there have been only 3 reported deaths from this mutated strain of rubella, and around 3 dozen instances of people being put into the intensive care unit at this time. It is believed that the primary risk group for this new rubella strain is the elderly and very young children. It is currently estimated that around 87,000 people have been infected with rubella in the state of Washington. Officials are currently working to create a rapid test for patients, and are also working to find any types of cures or therapies that could help patients heal from this condition. Officials are advising residents to wear a facial mask or other covering when going outdoors. Social distancing measures are also recommended, meaning you should try and keep 6 feet away from the people around you where possible. Ensure to use proper hygiene, and to wipe down any commonly used surfaces in your residence, school, or workplace with disinfectant wipes or sprays. If you suspect you have caught this new rubella strain, it is advised that you remain indoors, and contact medical officials immediately. Please remain calm, as panic will only make the situation worse. Stay tuned to local news media for more information and future updates on this event.
Hello, son. You mind telling me your name and a little bit about yourself?
Sure thing. My name is Marcus Bailey. I'm 18 years old, and I'm here to help participate in a study regarding the new rubella strain.
Good. It's nice to meet you, Marcus. I will be recording our discussions for medical research purposes if that's okay with you. Do you consent to being recorded?
I do consent to having our conversations recorded for medical use and for further research. If I'm going to be sick with this anyway, I might as well use this to try and help other people out that have contracted this new rubella strain.
That's a good attitude to have, son. Now, can you please tell us why you are here?
A few days ago, I started exhibiting symptoms of the new rubella strain. Some of my symptoms included having a high fever, headache, I had a rash going down my arm, and I've lost my sense of taste. I have been taking over-the-counter medications to try and keep the inflammation and my fever down, but it doesn't really seem to be working all that much. The Washington State Department of Health was asking for consenting adults who had contracted rubella to come in for a study and for observation, and I decided I wanted to help out the cause and get away from home so I don't get the rest of my family sick.
Again, us here at the Department of Health greatly appreciate what you are doing. We're well aware this can't be comfortable for you, and it takes a real man to go out on a limb like this. So let me explain what you're going to be doing here. We plan to keep you here for at least 2 weeks. You'll be provided a room where only medical staff will be allowed to visit you. You'll be provided food, drinks, and amenities to keep you occupied so you're not bored out of your mind. Your vitals and other bodily functions will be tracked throughout these 2 weeks to see if we can find any patterns with this new strain of rubella. Now, do you have any questions, Marcus?
No, doctor. I think I understand everything. I'm ready to start when you are.
All right, son. We'll get you started today. Let's get you settled in your room.
This is a National Information Center message. There is no ongoing national emergency at this time. Despite this, citizens are being asked to please listen carefully to the following message. Important information regarding the ongoing rubella outbreak will follow the alert tone. Please stand by. The following message is being transmitted at the request of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Please listen carefully. Over the past 2 weeks, a new strain of rubella has been spreading throughout the state of Washington, and new cases have been occurring around the nation. This new strain will be dubbed RB21 for convenience sake. While the cause of this new rubella strain is currently unknown, what is known is that it originated within Washington state around 2 weeks ago. It is currently believed 1 in 10 people in Washington state have been exposed to RB21 over the course of this epidemic. Other states that have reported new cases include, but are not limited to, Florida, Texas, New York, California, Illinois, Michigan, and Nevada. Rubella is a virus that spreads through the air, typically when an infected individual coughs or sneezes, transmitting the disease. Though this mutated strain of rubella seems to have different attributes compared to typical cases of the infection, RB21 has been reported to be resistant to the MMR vaccine, which is frequently used to prevent rubella, measles, and mumps. RB21 also seems to be causing sensory loss issues in some individuals. Many patients have reported losing their sense of taste and smell. While this isn't necessarily unusual with respiratory infections, it's relatively uncommon in typical rubella infections. The rate seems to be around 70% according to our most recent data. That is not the only deviation from rubella's typical behavior. Some patients have reported losing their sense to physically feel the world around them. Essentially, these patients have lost their sense of touch. This can typically lead to extreme mental anguish or panic, as patients that have exhibited this sensation call it indescribable. While it is more rare, some patients have even reported losing the ability to feel pain, which can lead to further medical complications if something internally goes wrong in the body of a patient. Though it seems that these bouts of sensory loss come in waves, they don't seem to be permanent as of our current observations. Primary risk groups for RB21 are mainly the elderly, young children, and those with weakened immune systems. It is believed that RB21 is beginning to take on attributes of neurological or sensory-related diseases. There is some concern for this rubella strain to mutate further than it already has, due to it already exhibiting the ability to rapidly change. In just a few weeks, it has rendered a staple vaccine for millions of people essentially worthless. Despite this, please try your best not to panic. We all saw what happened when people panicked during the COVID-19 pandemic. Panic does not solve anything. Everyone needs to remain level-headed in order for the nation to get through this properly. Remain calm, and do not go against government orders if they are to arise. At this time, lockdowns are not being planned on a state or national level, but they may be required if conditions significantly worsen. In the following weeks, stay tuned to local news media, as they will provide you with up-to-date information on the progression of RB21. Thank you for your cooperation, it is greatly appreciated. This has been a National Information Center message. Thank you for your time.
Huh. Well, that didn't take too long to go terrible.
Yep. Surprise! Hope you're ready for another year of this shit.
Huh. You have that little faith in people, huh?
Oh, come on. You saw what happened with COVID. No, I have lost faith in people being responsible.
Yeah, it's pretty unfortunate to see. It's a shame, really. I did everything I was supposed to last year. I wore my mask, I got vaccinated, I socially distanced, and I still got sick with COVID anyway.
Sorry to hear that, bud. Sometimes those things happen, and we can't really explain it. Marcus, are you okay? You don't look so good.
I feel like I'm floating. I can't feel anything.
What? What do you mean?
I can't feel anything. I feel alone in here.
Marcus, stay calm. We're gonna get this figured out.
Doctor, I'm scared.
It's okay, Marcus. I promise you're gonna be okay.
This message is being broadcast at the request of the Kenwick Police Department. A local area emergency has been issued for the city of Kenwick, Washington, until further notice. Throughout the day today, a strange phenomena has been occurring in and around the city of Kenwick. Numerous residents have reported having brief bouts of neurosensory loss, mainly in regards to their hearing and sight. Citizens that were having this issue reported everything going black for a few minutes, despite them still being conscious. Some people have also reported of losing their hearing, which seems to occur in one of two ways. The first way is people hear an incredibly loud ringing in their ears. The second way, which seems to be less common, is people lose all hearing, and they cannot hear a single thing. It is believed that this is due to the rapidly spreading virus known as RB21. The CDC has warned that the virus may mutate rapidly, and that seems to be the case here. There is no other logical explanation as to why so many could be losing these senses out of nowhere. If you believe you may have been exposed to RB21, you are being urged to stay indoors immediately. Contact your local healthcare provider, and wait to hear back from them in regards to what you should do. RB21 starts off as a respiratory virus, which then begins to take on symptoms that reflect that of a neurological or sensory disease. It is unknown if these bouts of sensory loss are permanent as of this time. The best advice that can be given is if you experience sensory loss, remain calm, stay right where you are, and don't move until you are capable of moving again. The loud ringing and especially the loss of sight is enough to incapacitate people for a long period of time. Residents are being advised to remain off of the road unless absolutely necessary due to this new development. There has been an exceptionally higher amount of car crashes in the state today compared to usual, despite calm weather across the region. It is believed that RB21 is to blame for this uptick of road accidents. If you must go outside, remember to wear some sort of facial covering, and do your best to socially distance yourself from others. Stay tuned to local news media for more information and future updates on this event. This message is being broadcast at the request of civil authorities within the city of Spokane, Washington. This is an administrative message. There is no current emergency underway at this time. This message is being relayed in regards to an ongoing issue within Spokane that has become more severe in the past few days. Please stand by for a message that is being transmitted at the request of civil authorities within the city of Spokane, Washington. Throughout the past week, residents have been reporting a significantly lower count in the availability of food, drinks, and other essential items in local grocery stores. This also includes, but is not limited to, cleaning supplies, paper towels, toilet paper, disinfecting spray, and over-the-counter medications for pain and cold symptoms. It is believed that some residents have been panic buying supplies and hoarding them all to themselves. Please do not hoard essential materials, as this is unnecessary and is doing a disservice to your fellow man. There have also been a handful of anonymous tips that stated some people and even stores reselling essential supplies at a drastically higher cost than what they originally sold for. This is called price gouging and is highly illegal, especially in a time of emergency, such as an epidemic. You will be arrested and fined if you are found to be price gouging over the course of this epidemic. Please, be kind to one another. Working against your fellow man is not going to get anybody anywhere. Residents are being asked to please buy only what is necessary from local stores, and to try their best to leave supplies for other people. This has been an administrative message. Thank you for your time.
Hi, Marcus. How are you doing today?
What was that?
I said, how are you doing today?
Oh, alright, I guess. I'm having trouble hearing things just a little bit.
Huh. Could be a new development of this rubella strain. Do you notice anything else strange?
My vision is darker as well. I've never had trouble with my sight before this. I feel like I can only see a few dozen feet ahead of me. I can barely see the trees outside the windows anymore, let alone the birds that go to them often.
Very strange. We'll make sure to get some tests on your hearing and vision. Can you feel things through touch again?
I think it's kind of recovered. It's occasional. It comes and goes.
Well, that's great to hear. Maybe that's a good sign. We'll have to keep an eye on it, though.
Hello everyone, my name is James Bold, lead news anchor and reporter for First Coast Weather and News. Today, we will be discussing some new information regarding the ongoing RB21 epidemic that is affecting the United States. As of this morning, it is currently estimated that around 8 million people have been infected with the new rubella strain over the past 3 weeks. The terrifying part about this is its rapid mutation, as it seems to only get more and more intense with each passing day. But this has left us all with a question: where did this come from? While it has not been confirmed, it is believed that this new strain of rubella originated in Yakima, Washington. About a month and a half ago, we did a story about the town's stark opposition to vaccinations, such as the MMR vaccine, due to the mass confusion over the COVID-19 vaccine throughout the past year and a half. The government's development and rollout of the vaccine has left some wary of vaccinations as a whole now. While this seems to be mostly based on unfounded fears, it does not stop these people from feeling the way they do. But unfortunately, this can have an effect on all of us. The Centers for Disease Control thoroughly believe that RB21 was allowed to develop and fester in Yakima due to passing a ruling, not requiring and even discontinuing some staple vaccinations, including the MMR vaccine. It took only a month for a disease that has been virtually extinct in the United States for years to make an explosive comeback. Now, millions of people are getting a virus that did not have to happen, and never should have. In addition to this, we are still trying to recover from the COVID-19 pandemic, which is arguably not even over yet as of this time. I believe America is mostly full of rational people. But all it takes is one loud group of people spreading misinformation to cause trouble. Seems we are all paying the price for some people's ignorance. But even through all of this, the coronavirus and RB21, some people are still refusing to wear masks and follow proper protocol. Many people are tired of having to live in constant fear and hesitance to do anything outside their homes. While that is understandable, in times of crisis, we must work together to ensure the safety of the general population. Nobody needs to die from a disease like this. The lives of young people are being ruined, whether they get sick or not. Imagine the long-term damage this will cause on our society at large. But I digress. That is just one man's opinion. Sorry for getting a bit political there, it's a sensitive topic to me. In the end, I just want to live in a happy, healthy nation, and people not allowing us to live in peace really gets under my skin. But regardless of everything I just said, I will still be around to keep you updated on this developing situation. On to our next story. We will be discussing instances of civil discourse related to the RB21 epidemic.
This message is being broadcast at the request of the Payne County Police Department. A law enforcement warning has been issued for the city of Stillwater, Oklahoma, until further notice. Throughout the day today, there have been numerous altercations between law enforcement and citizens in regards to ongoing epidemic precautions, such as mask mandates and social distancing requirements. The main source of this discourse seems to be due to a recently instated mask mandate for the state, which law enforcement have been instructed to ensure the general public follows as closely as possible. This mandate has been reinstated due to the ongoing RB21 epidemic, in hopes to slow the spread of the virus. While residents will not be arrested for ignoring the mandate, they are not allowed to enter privately or publicly owned businesses without a face mask or other facial covering. Residents will be turned away if they are not taking proper safety precautions. This has led to numerous disagreements between businesses and citizens, some of which have turned to violent altercations which require the intervention of law enforcement. If you want to go out in public, follow guidelines in accordance with the Centers for Disease Control and state requirements. Do not attempt to disobey or get around these laws in public areas, as you will be punished if you try to start trouble with a business or law enforcement. If you witness a violent altercation in public, keep a safe distance away, and contact law enforcement immediately. Stay tuned to local news media for more information and future updates on this event.
Marcus. Marcus. Marcus!
Sorry, Doc, I couldn't hear you.
Huh. And it looks like these tests are right.
Well, what did they say?
Both your hearing and sight have taken a large hit. Your test scores have drastically decreased since your primary care checkups you took when you came in.
Is there anything that you know of that could maybe reverse this, that could help this maybe? Prevent it from getting worse? Is there anything we can do?
I don't know, Marcus, but I'm going to try my best for you. I promise I will do everything I can.
Well, thank you for that. I really appreciate it. Really, I just want my life back. I haven't had a normal life, really, just like everyone else, in a year and a half, and I don't want to lose any more of it.
I'm sorry, but again, I promise we'll do the best we can for you.
This message is being broadcast at the request of the state government of Washington. A shelter-in-place order has been issued for the Seattle metropolitan area, active immediately, and until further notice. Due to the extreme spread of RB21, it has been decided that Seattle needs to go into a lockdown. The city makes up around 40% of the state's cases, and conditions have been rapidly deteriorating in the area over the past week. Residents are being asked to remain indoors, and only to leave the house for gathering essential supplies, or if it is an absolute emergency. While the exact end date to this lockdown is currently unknown, it will likely be longer than 2 weeks from today. RB21 seems to take around a week and a half to 2 weeks to run its course on the human body, or at least to reach a point where it is no longer transmissible by an individual. Unfortunately, the effects of RB21 can be long-lasting, and as of now, it is possible they can be permanent for some individuals. This lockdown order applies only to the Seattle metropolitan area at this time, but these orders may have to be expanded to other areas if conditions continue to worsen. A national lockdown has not been enacted as of now. If you have trouble or need supplies such as food, drinking water, or important medications, please contact your local police department. They are currently working with the state to help ensure everyone has access to supplies. Try and ensure you have around 2 weeks' worth of food in your home. If not, again, contact your local law enforcement agency for more information on how they can help. Thank you for your cooperation. It is greatly appreciated. Stay tuned to local news media for more information and future updates on this event. We interrupt your regularly scheduled programming for an important message. This is a national emergency. The following message will contain important information regarding the RB21 epidemic. Please stand by for an important message from the President, along with the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. A national lockdown will begin 3 days from now, on the morning of October 11th, 2021. The spread of RB21 has continued to only increase in intensity by the day. At this time, it is estimated around 15 million people have been infected with RB21 within the United States. With the exponential rise of cases, a lockdown has been determined to be the best option to ensure the safety of the people. States that are current hotspots include Texas, Florida, California, New York, and Pennsylvania. The National Guard will be deployed to numerous large cities across the country to assist in giving supplies to those in need. There has been a large increase in car accidents and other public incidents due to the sensory loss caused by RB21. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is urging everyone to remain indoors, unless there is an absolute emergency. If you believe you have contracted RB21, self-isolate immediately for at least 14 days, and continue to isolate if respiratory symptoms continue after 2 weeks. If you must go out in public, it is advised you bring someone else with you, just in case you fall ill in public. Other than whoever is with you, social distancing is still urged to be used, unless you absolutely need to be close to other people. Continue to wear facial coverings outdoors. The disease typically takes 2 to 3 weeks to run its course in most individuals. If you notice conditions continuing past that point, contact your local healthcare provider. Do not attempt to break lockdown orders. Doing so could result in punishment, such as fines or jail time. To get through these troubling times, we must work together. Please remain calm and kind to each other. Be there for each other when needed, if you can do so safely. This has been an emergency action notification. Thank you for your time.
Marcus, can I come in? Marcus, can you hear me? Can you see me? Well, you still have a pulse. You're alive at least. God damn it. What am I going to tell your parents? This can't be it. There has to be a way to reverse this.
This is an administrative message, which is being broadcast at the request of the Dothan Police Department. There is no ongoing emergency at this time. This message is being relayed in relation to an ongoing situation regarding RB21, a mutated strain of the rubella virus, that is currently affecting the United States. 11 days ago, a national lockdown was put into effect in an effort to try and slow the spread of the virus. The lockdown order included residents staying indoors, unless there was an emergency, or if they needed to gather supplies. There have been reports around the country of unruly uprisings and protests in relation to the lockdown and mask mandates that have been put in place around the country. Residents who decide to defy these lockdown orders or health mandates may be subject to fines or even jail time for public endangerment. Scientists around the country are working tirelessly to try and find a potential cure or way to slow down this epidemic, and people perpetuating the spread of the virus are not helping the situation. Government officials urge you to stay indoors until the lockdown order is lifted. Do not go outside in an attempt to protest the lockdowns. It is well known that the country is not happy with these orders, and we aren't either. The best thing we can do at this time is to be patient, and to remember we are doing this for the betterment of the nation and the people within it. Remember, if you are caught protesting out in public spaces while there is a lockdown order in effect, you will face punishments such as fines or jail time. Over the next few weeks, stay tuned to local news media for more information and future updates on the ongoing RB21 epidemic. This has been an administrative message. Thank you for your time. This is a National Information Center message. The following message is being broadcast at the request of the United States government, in conjunction with the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. New information has been discovered in relation to the ongoing RB21 epidemic affecting the United States. The following message is being relayed at the request of a representative from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Please listen carefully, as this information may save your life. It has been discovered that RB21 seems to progress in individuals through 5 distinct stages. These stages will be discussed within this alert, and the effects on the human body will be explained here. Please listen carefully. Stage 1 is considered to be the beginning of infection for this new mutated strain of rubella. Generally speaking, residents will have symptoms similar to the common cold or other respiratory illnesses. Symptoms generally include, but are not limited to, fever, headaches, nasal congestion or runny nose, inflamed eyes, bright pink rash on the skin, and joint aches and pains. Patients are also likely to experience a loss of taste and/or smell throughout the duration of this period. A majority of patients will experience these symptoms for 7 to 14 days. Once these symptoms clear, it is likely they will recover with little to no long-term side effects. But for some, the disease continues to progress. Stage 2 generally holds the same symptoms as Stage 1, but with the added effect of patients losing the ability to physically feel the world through normal means of touching, along with the possibility of losing the ability to feel physical pain. The former seems to cause patients a large amount of mental distress, as this feeling, or lack thereof, has often been said to be indescribable. Patients that could find the words to describe the feeling have described the phenomenon as the feeling of floating in an open void. While this sensation seems to cause no physical harm, it has been recorded to cause a large amount of distress in individuals. The latter of the two symptoms is a more active threat, as a patient may not be able to feel if something is going wrong in their bodies. Someone's organs could be failing, or they could have fallen and broken a bone, and they may have trouble realizing it. Patients in this stage of RB21 should be very cautious and aware of how their bodies are functioning. If you think something is going wrong and you can't feel what it may be, do not hesitate to seek medical attention. Recovery from RB21 at this point in the disease is still possible, but the odds are significantly less than they are in stage 1. By stage 3, most of the symptoms mirroring the common cold or flu have gone away. Some leftover sensory issues from stage may second linger during this time. The main distinction with stage 3 is a more serious and profound case of sensory loss. Patients will experience partial or even total loss of their vision or hearing temporarily. These bouts of sensory loss typically last 15 to 30 minutes for most patients. In regards to hearing loss, patients will likely experience it one of two ways. The first way this happens is that people will hear a loud ringing in their ears, to the point where it drowns out all incoming sounds. The second way is that patients will simply lose the ability to hear anything at all. It is a similar experience to what a deaf person may experience. While an exact reason is not known as to why this occurs, it is believed that RB21 has the ability to attack the nervous system, something that previous strains of rubella could only do when the disease was passed on from parent to child. While recovery is still technically possible at this point, it is seen as extremely unlikely. Residents may be able to function in a household setting while in stage 3, but it is best to remain indoors and to not engage in a large amount of physical activity. Stage 4 is more of an extension of stage 3. The symptoms are the same as stage 3, but the bouts of sensory loss become much more intense and last much longer. They can range anywhere from 30 minutes to multiple hours in length. At this point, it is unknown if recovery is possible in individuals affected with RB21. Patients are advised to stay stationary and not attempt to move around too much, as the profound sensory loss makes traditional movement dangerous. Stage 5 is the final stage of RB21's progression. While research on this is still ongoing, it is believed the sensory damage is so severe that it is likely irreversible. People that have reached this point have permanently lost their ability to see, hear, feel, or all of the above. As of now, there is no known way to reverse this nerve damage. If the loved one has reached this stage in RB21's progression, the best you can do is take care of them and comfort them to the best of your ability. The reasoning behind why some people progress fully through the virus and some don't is still being looked into. This virus came out of nowhere. Nobody was expecting something of this magnitude to happen. Our best scientists are hard at work trying to find a potential cure, or at least a vaccination to prevent future cases. At this time, it is very important that you respect lockdown rules and do not spread this virus any further. It will likely be a long and difficult journey to recovery, but we will make it there eventually. Over the coming weeks, stay tuned to local news media for more information and future updates on this event. This has been a National Information Center message. Thank you for your time.
I'm sorry, sir. We did everything we could for Marcus. He fought hard. He was a real trooper.
There's nothing else you can do. You tried everything?
We did, sir. I'm sorry.
Damn it! What do we do now?
The best you can try and do is bring Marcus to a rehabilitation center in the meantime. Until then, take care of him as well as you can and make sure he's comfortable.
Alright. Thank you for everything, and sorry for getting angry at you. I just know my son was hoping to recover from this and live a normal life again. Looks like he won't have that now.
Again, I am truly sorry, sir. Please keep in touch. If we find any new developments with Marcus or RB21 that could possibly help him, we will let you know. You have my word.
We interrupt your regularly scheduled programming for an important message. This is an emergency action termination message. This message is being broadcast in regards to a national emergency that was issued on August 10, 2021. The outbreak of RB21 has been brought down to a controllable level due to rapid development of a new rubella vaccine. Unfortunately, it is estimated that around 550,000 have died over the course of this epidemic. In addition to that, it is estimated that around 4 million people suffered permanent sensory loss as a result of side effects from RB21. The government is currently working to set up clinics around the country to help those who lost their senses over the past year. If you or a loved one suffered sensory loss due to RB21, please go to the Centers Disease Control and Prevention website for more information. At this time, there is no longer a national emergency active for the United States. This has been an emergency action termination message. Thank you for your time.
Hello everyone, my name is James Bold, lead news anchor and reporter for First Coast Weather and News. Today, we will be discussing what seems to be the relative end of the RB21 epidemic. It has been confirmed that the suspension of the MMR vaccine in Yakima, Washington, was the cause behind the development of RB21. The lack of resistance in the community allowed for the disease to rapidly infect people, and gave it time to mutate. That combined with many people having weakened immune systems after the COVID-19 pandemic led to a perfect breeding ground for the disease to thrive. Due to this revelation, the government plans to roll out new federal guidelines in relation to vaccinations, and limit which vaccinations can be suspended and who makes those decisions. Saturday afternoon, a message was broadcast over the emergency alert system across the nation, and what it held was truly a sobering message. Around 550,000 people dead, at least 4 million people with permanent sensory and nerve damage. What a truly terrible disease. Having to deal with the remnants of COVID-19 alongside RB21 also did not help the situation. Millions of people had their loved ones taken away by both diseases, and millions more lost their ways of life due to both outbreaks. The financial, physical, and psychological effects these diseases will have on our nation in the coming years is truly undeniable, and likely indescribable. And to think that RB21 came to be because of vaccine hesitancy. It is understandable to be hesitant of new technology, I get it. But when it is proven to be safe through millions of people, why hesitate? We have known for decades that vaccines are safe, effective, and can help eradicate diseases. Yet some people still fight them. And while most people did what they were supposed to, plenty did not, through the course of both outbreaks. The lack of human compassion and empathy that has been on display for the past 2 years is truly sickening. I hope that this has all been a proper lesson to the people of the nation. It pays to protect your fellow man. But opinions aside, the government is currently working to develop thousands of recovery facilities for residents affected by RB21. These facilities will primarily focus on those who lost their hearing and/or sight. For patients who did not suffer complete hearing loss, hearing aids will likely be used. For those with complete hearing loss, these facilities will try and help these people learn how to live with deafness, and teach them things such as sign language so they can still communicate properly. People who were rendered blind will be taught how to read Braille, and will be provided other services to try and help them get used to this new way of life. The government said these programs will be free to anyone who was a victim of RB21. It's going to be rough for the next few years. Millions of people have been robbed of their senses, and even people that got away relatively scot-free still had their livelihoods trashed. But arguably the best thing we can do now is try to move on together, and hope for a better tomorrow. This has been your afternoon update from First Coast Weather and News. Have a good day wherever you are, and stay safe out there.